after moms are cleared by their doctor, usually 8 weeks, how long after that do you start to do the massage?
Right away. But I'm not going to say, like, again, it depends on a spectrum, right? So right away, we definitely, like, once those steri strips are dry and they're coming off, I have my clients, right, like, as soon as possible, again, start getting used to touch in the area. The same way if you have like a cut on your arm and you might say, oh, it feels kind of weird, or it might feel kind of numb. Like, you want to try desensitizing that tissue right away. That doesn't necessarily mean like I'm massaging the tissue. So that's where it can be a little bit misinterpreted sometimes. But like, again, we do want to start creating some neural inputs to that tissue so that our brain can start to feel, okay, like this is safe touch. It's, again, it's not ooh, it's not weird, but it's try to normalize what that feeling feels like so that you can kind of progress from there to more of massage in the tissue.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And so because I know some people, when I've suggested this, are like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready to touch that area yet. So what are some, I guess, recommendations or tactical things that you get your clients to do other than, just gently touching? What are some ways that they can just start to gently kind of get used to not being maybe so grossed out or oohed or squeamish about it?
Exactly. Yeah. So again, right away, like I say, like your hands are probably the best thing that you can start with, right? So again, if I just even took a pen like on my arm here, for instance, right? And if this was my scar, I might even just start with like a little bit of back and forth over the scar. Even before I get on that scar, I might even we have to think that, again, that everything's kind of being pulled together, right? So I might not even touch that scar, but I might even just start like an inch away and start touching that area. Again, that whole area is generally probably going to be numb right off the bat, right? So even just starting with a little bit of touch up and down in different directions, that's a really great option to try. You could use a shirt, you could use a cotton ball, you could use, your silk pajamas, whatever that is, even like, something as simple as lying on your stomach and just you don't need to like push or anything. You don't need to do anything crazy, but just getting a little bit of pressure on that area, just getting used to that is again, as long as it feels comfortable, in many cases, it's a great way to start getting used to what that feels like.
Right. Yeah, I really like that point, that using something else, silk pajamas. What mom is wearing silk pajamas?
I know, right?
Buy me some silk pajamas. Silk pajamas. I've seen cotton swab, right? So something, yeah. Okay, awesome. Those are really good tips. So can you show us and lead us through what a scar massage will look like?
So what you can, again, first of all, you might just want to start with like a little bit of, again, light touching in that area, back and forth, up and down. You might even just try like a little bit of up and down sensation. You can see I'm really lightly just sinking into my skin right now. And I'm not necessarily like pushing, okay? I would probably do this lying down, because right now, being in an upright position, like my abs are on because it needs to help me hold up. So I would definitely do it in a relaxed position. And then what I might try to do is just a little bit of like nudging the tissue almost. So I'm just kind of pushing down onto that scar. If I have an adhesion, and you can kind of see like you can see the skin doesn't quite move as well in this area. Whereas in this area, it kind of sinks in a little bit more. So I'm just kind of paying attention to that as I kind of sink around that scar. And I might just move up and down and just kind of make sure. Often people will only focus on the above section, but we also want to make sure we're getting under that scar as well. Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. From there, I could actually try a little bit of circle. So I might sink into that scar and just try some circles around. And again, I'm trying to just get that skin moving. I'm feeling for any of those nodules that you described to see, again, what does it feel like? And really, before you even do any of this, I'm going to put my face back in the camera for a second. The scar massage should never, ever, ever feel painful. So you may feel that it pulls a little bit. You may feel that, a little bit squeamish, that it feels weird. And that's all okay, but it should never feel painful.
Right.
Okay. If you're noticing that it's like getting, like it feels like it's going to open, if you're noticing any like red spots in the area, it's getting really irritated, that's too much. And I would back off. Okay. So we did a little bit of touching, we did some circles. Some of the other things, again, I'm going kind of from easiest to more advanced here.
Right.
You could also try a little bit of like hugging the tissue, almost like you're coming through that scar and going through there. You could go vertically up through that scar. You could go across. And again, remember, we want everything to be movable in all different directions. And right now, again, if I'm early days, I'm not putting a lot of pressure. If I was further along and everything on the outside felt like it was moving pretty well, then I might feel a little bit more comfortable to sink in a little bit more. But again, you're going based on your comfort level,
Right.
and what things feel like.
So you're 1 year postpartum, right? Or not quite?
I am 13 months.
Right.
Postpartum.
Okay. So are you spending in that time, in that area that you showed us, where it's a little bit more challenging to get movement, are you spending more of your time in that area?
In general, yes.
Right.
Again, though, that's the area that probably needs a little bit more love. In lots of cases, it's the midline area, because in some cases the surgeon will actually cut upwards, and even though you don't see it on the outside,
Right.
sometimes to create a little bit more space, they'll actually do an incision up through the midline.
Okay.
So then there can be some extra stitches in those deeper layers. So again,
Right.
maybe not on my shirt or my jacket,
Right.
but in my undershirt on the inside is where there's been some extra stitching.
Okay.
Sometimes it's off on the sides. So in some cases, it's kind of off, like out towards the hip bone here.
Okay.
And that's where people will feel a little bit more noduly.
Right.
And again, often it's because the surgeon needs to adhere those stitches down.
Right.
When they're doing their surgery.
Right. And is there kind of like how many minutes should a mom be doing this a day, or should they be doing it every day, 3 times a week? Or is there, kind of just like however it feels good to you?
It really depends. It depends again on those goals as well. So as a physio, we're kind of prescribing things depending on someone's goals, depending on, when I'm assessing the tissue, what does the tissue look like? What does the tissue feel like? So again, there's no number, unfortunately. Right. We all wish there was. Right?
I know, right? Got you. Okay. I forgot to ask, when you are massaging, should you be using oil or anything, just, dry fingers? What should we be using?
Again, depending on what the skin is like, what's going to be most comfortable though is definitely like a lotion, an oil of some sort. Right. Sometimes I'll have people, again, if they're just in the shower washing the rest of their body, spend a little bit of extra time just around that C-section area. If you're moisturizing your body, again, spend a little bit of time. We often don't think about maybe moisturizing our stomach, right, but it's a nice way as we're doing our arms and the rest of our body, give that area a little bit of love too, because it needs it.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. I think that's easy, right? It's easier, it's slippery, you got some soap. Yeah, okay.
Absolutely. And you don't need to necessarily then find the time to get it in either, because you're already doing it with, as a mom, I don't know how much we're spending lotioning our bodies and whatnot, but if you are,
well, if you can see how flaky my skin is,
you got some sun this weekend.
Yeah, awesome.